Hi, I'm Spira. Welcome to my channel where I focus mostly on trauma healing and yoga as a specific modality, as well as TRE and somatic experiencing. And I want to talk to you today about TRE and practicing TRE on your own for the first time. So I'm in a Reddit group that is long-term TRE, and I just kind of popped my head in there just to see what's going on, what kinds of experiences people are having, offering advice and answering questions for people too. One of the things that I see a lot is that there are people out there who jump into this practice without thinking, I don't know how to say this, without being careful, right? They just kind of jump in and they're like, yeah, I want to do this. And I want to issue a few warnings. And that's because what I am seeing is people having negative experiences, getting dysregulated easily, having a lot of anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. And this happens for various reasons. More often than not, the main reason that I've been seeing is people overdoing it. You know, like they jump on in and they do like, you know, more than 10 or 15 minutes of tremoring, or they jump in and start doing it every single day right off the bat. And that's just not a great idea. So I decided to make a video just as a little heads up and just to offer a little bit of advice for people who are considering trying TRE on their own. Now, it's fine to do TRE on your own, and Dr. Berselli says as much. I mean, he's published, I think, like 3 books, you know, and he even had a video at one point too, not even sure if that's still being published or not. But, you know, according to him, it's fine to practice it on your own. However, I think that there are a few caveats. So for people who have never done any kind of somatic work, and by somatic work, I mean things like breath work or yoga or qigong, which is awesome too. Things like that where you're actually working with the body in this gentle way. If you've never done anything like that and you are already kind of fully dysregulated, or you're in freeze mode or shut down, it might not be the best idea to do it on your own. And here is why. So when you work with a provider, the provider is watching over you, and we get training in how to look out for signs of dissociation or dysregulation. And for us, we have a whole protocol on how to work with that. And if you're very, very new to the practice, it's just a safer way to go about it, because you don't want to take the risks of dysregulating yourself. So a very common comment that I see in these threads are, you know, I tried it for the first time and I was like screaming and crying, and then the next day I just felt awful. I had all this anxiety and stomach issues and you know, things like that. So here's the thing, okay? A lot of people have this assumption that if you are screaming and crying, that it's this amazing release. But there is a difference between crying as a release versus crying due to overwhelm. And in TRE, crying is welcomed. Crying, yawning, laughing are all different types of release. But crying due to overwhelm is a whole different situation. Crying due to overwhelm means that you're triggered and you've gotten dysregulated again. And so we don't want to keep dysregulating ourselves as part of the healing process, because that isn't part of the healing process. You don't want to allow yourself to get dysregulated. So I'm going to see if I can explain it. I'm going to do my best. I know it's kind of nuanced, okay? So for me, when I work with a client one-on-one, if the client becomes overwhelmed and starts crying within the first couple of minutes, that is dysregulation. That is crying due to overwhelm. And when that happens, I have them stop immediately. We take a break. I get them something to drink, like a cool cup of water, get them regrounded, get them back into their body. I wait until they feel better, and then we try again. And then I keep an eye on them. If it happens again, we pause again. So this is part of what we call the pendulation and titration process. Pendulation, as you know, like a pendulum, kind of swings back and forth. If you get overwhelmed, we back off, we wait, and then we swing back in again and we try again. Now, in my personal experience, so far I've worked with a few, maybe a few hundred people. Not quite sure if I've hit 1,000 yet or not. I haven't really kept track, to be honest, but it's only happened a few times in person where someone became overwhelmed. And every time that has happened, usually, well, always in my case, the second time that we come back in to try again is usually what did the trick. And usually they can tremor without incident and do a full 15 minutes of tremoring for the first session. Usually the first session we just stick to 15 minutes. Now, if you are tremoring for 10 to 15 minutes and then you get a little bit of tears kind of bubbling up, in a gentle way, not in a sudden way. It doesn't hit you all at once. But if you get some soft, gentle tears coming up, that is crying due to release. That is a nice release. That's a healthy release. I hope this can help, right? Because the other thing is too, is after you cry from a release, you should feel a sense of relief and feel calm. If you're crying due to overwhelm, and you've dysregulated yourself, you'll feel exhausted. You'll feel emotionally exhausted. And I think that if you really think about it, you can tell the difference in your own body. And this is something that we just don't want to happen. We don't want you to get hurt. We don't want you to have unhealthy symptoms like a lot more anxiety and things like that. So for this purpose, I really strongly recommend that if you do have a lot of trauma and you haven't really done much for it yet, not even to start with TRE. And I know that might be like controversial, because I am a TRE provider, so obviously I would want clients to work with. But to be fair, I really think you need something more gentle to start with. And what I would recommend is start with some simple breath work. Now, breath work generally is contraindicated for trauma, but a gentle type of breath work, and the only one that I personally recommend, is diaphragmatic breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing is a very, very simple thing to do. You take a full inhale through the belly, and then you let out the exhale really slowly. So you just want to make sure the exhale is longer than the inhale. It's very effective for panic attacks and anxiety in general, but it's a nice practice to get into. And then the other thing I would recommend is other types of nervous system regulation tools. And I do have videos on nervous system regulation. I think I have 4 at this point, videos about nervous system regulation. And what I would recommend is to pick the ones that you like, because there are a lot of different ways to do it. Pick the ones that you like and do them at least 3 times a day for a few minutes. It doesn't have to be a long session. For example, if you choose legs up the wall or just elevating your hips higher than your heart, I would say to do that for maybe 5 minutes. And then, spread it out throughout the day. Maybe you'll do legs up the wall in the morning. Maybe you'll do some diaphragmatic breathing in the afternoon. Maybe you'll do child's pose in the evening. Whatever you want to do. If you like singing, that's a really good one, by the way. Singing is a great way to regulate your nervous system. But really, you only need about 5 minutes of these for it to be effective. And if you do a minimum of 3 times a day, honestly, 5 would be even better. That's going to help you get to a healthy baseline for your nervous system. That's going to help you regulate your nervous system in a very gentle way. Somatic yoga is also really good for that. And there aren't a lot of places that teach somatic yoga, and the definition of somatic yoga is different depending on the teacher. When I teach somatic yoga, I incorporate skills from somatic experiencing because I'm also certified in that. And that is a way where we move very, very slowly and start to make that connection with the body. Because the connection with the body is the most important piece of healing from trauma. And you want to start making that connection in a gentle way, okay? And you want to take your time with it, and you don't have to rush. Depending on how long you've had this trauma. For example, if you have childhood trauma and you're in your 30s, you've had trauma for 30-something years, give yourself some time. Don't rush. You're not going to heal your trauma overnight. So coming back to the nervous system regulation, go ahead and start with things like that, and then or in conjunction with that, start a gentle movement practice like somatic yoga Or if you can't find a somatic yoga in your class, find a place that has the absolute most gentle yoga you can find, or a restorative yoga class as well. Because restorative, you don't even move. It's actually a nervous system regulation class, and it's a way to allow your body to rest intentionally, and it's very relaxing and very calming. So I would recommend things like that. But there are other kinds of movement, like Qigong, which I mentioned earlier. Qigong is Chinese type of movement, and I am not the best at explaining this, so please forgive me because I'm not an expert in it. I've literally only tried it a few times, and there are videos on YouTube that can help you get started, so I would recommend it. I would also recommend the practice that's called somatics. That is different from somatic experiencing, and it is different from somatic yoga. However, some people call somatics somatic yoga as well, which is crazy, I know, because the word somatic is very trendy now and they want to put it in front of everything. But if you can find someone who teaches somatics, which is from Thomas Hanna, he's the originator, I believe. He does have a website too, and I'm sure there are videos on that as well. So that could also be helpful. And the other one is Feldenkrais, Feldenkrais. You can definitely find Feldenkrais videos on YouTube. I have seen them and I've done them myself, and Feldenkrais is also extremely gentle. So these are my tips for starting before you try TRE. Now, having said that, if you have already practiced yoga and you've done a lot of somatic work and things that involve your physical body and connecting to your body, then I'm feeling pretty confident in telling you that it's okay to try TRE on your own. Your body will probably love it. It'll be a very easy transition, hopefully. I can't guarantee anything, unfortunately, which is frustrating, but you know, please take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, so if you've done some somatic work and you've done things through the body, like yoga and things like that, then it's a much safer way to start TRE. I hope this doesn't turn you off to TRE. I just want to, I guess, prevent people from having difficult experiences, because I feel bad. I don't want people to jump into something like this and have a negative experience and then give up on it thinking it's never going to work for them. So please be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Look at other somatic practices. Start slow. And if you do try TRE and you don't get dysregulated or feel overwhelmed, but you do have some side effects the next day, like maybe increased anxiety, for example, then take a break, you know, at least 2 or 3 days. And then when you try it again, cut down the practice, cut down the tremoring session. So there's the exercises, and then there's actually the tremoring session itself. When you get on the floor and you start your tremoring, cut it down to maybe 5 minutes. And that's it. And then wait a few days and try again. You really want to go slow. This is the titration process, where you start and you increase every time you come back to it. Okay, so that's titration, and I think you understand pendulation. If you're on your own and you've watched this video and now you're feeling pretty confident that you know the difference between overwhelm and just release, then maybe try again on your own, because I know not everybody can afford to work with providers. I get it. So maybe if you feel that little bit of overwhelm, stop yourself, take a break, get grounded, feel your feet on the floor, make fists, get some water, get back into your body, you know, wait 10 minutes, get on your mat, and maybe try again and see how it goes. You will most likely have a much easier time the second time around, I hope. But yeah, if you need any help, I'm here for you. I am a provider, and I do take Zoom appointments as well. I see people here in my studio, but I actually do a lot of Zoom appointments online, and I've worked with people all over the world, and we've just worked out the time difference and stuff. And all my information is in the description box below. I have my yoga studio website, and then I have my Heal.me profile as well. And you can get in touch with me through either of those websites. So good luck to you. Please take your time. Please be gentle with yourself. Don't be in a rush. It is going to happen. If you're on the path to healing your trauma, you will heal. You will feel better just because you're here and you're wanting to and you're trying to learn. And that means you care, and that means you want to get better. So give yourself a little pat on the back for that too. And also a little hug. This is called havening. This is also a nice self-soothing method. It can sometimes regulate the nervous system, but it does soothe, and it's a nice way to calm yourself. And you can also use this if you do get a little dysregulated and you pause. You can also try this too, okay? Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.